Hello. How are you? Good. We're going to be reading the story Max and Maggie in Autumn. Written by Janet Craig, illustrated by Paul Measle. Do you guys remember what's another word for the season called autumn? It has to do with the leaves and the trees. It's fall, yes. Autumn is here, said Maggie as she looked out the window. A cool breeze was blowing. Pretty yellow, orange, and red leaves were falling from the trees. One by one, the leaves floated down. Soon they covered Maggie's yard. This looks like a good time to rake, said Maggie. Maggie worked very hard. She raked until there was not a single leaf left on the ground. There, said Maggie. Now I'll go visit Max. Max was Maggie's best friend. He may need some help with his leaves, she said. Off Maggie marched. She saw one last leaf fall on the grass. I'll be back for you later, she told the leaf. When Maggie reached Max's house, she could not believe her eyes. Leaves were everywhere. They covered the yard. They covered the garden. They covered the path. Max certainly does need help, said Maggie. She was about to start raking when she heard Max's voice. Stop, stop, he cried. Max was running down the street, huffing and puffing. Over his shoulder, he carried a very big bag. Wonder what's in that bag. Please don't touch those leaves, said Max. Then he turned the bag upside down. Out of it poured hundreds of leaves. What are you doing? Cried Maggie. Now there are more leaves to rake. I know, said Max happily. Wait here, I'll be right back. Max set off with the bag. Maggie was puzzled. I like Max, she thought, but sometimes I worry about him. Why do you think he's putting leaves in his yard? Yeah, we'll see. Max soon returned. He poured out more leaves. All right, he said, now we can rake. Maggie and Max raked and raked and raked some more. At last they were done. A giant pile of leaves stood in the yard. It was the biggest leaf pile Maggie has ever seen. That was a lot of work, said Maggie. I'm so glad we're done. It was a lot of work, agreed Max, but we're not done yet. What do you mean? Asked Maggie. Watch, said Max. He ran across the yard, leaped and jumped right into the leaf pile. Then he rolled in the leaves and laughed and laughed. Come on, said Max. Falling leaves are the best part of autumn. First you rake them, then you fall in them. That looks like fun, doesn't it? Maggie laughed. Then she took a running jump and landed in the leaves beside her friend. What fun, said Maggie. Do you think this is why autumn is called fall? I wouldn't be surprised, said Max. That's exactly why autumn is called fall. The perfect pumpkin. One sunny autumn day, Max and Maggie were taking a walk. This is a fine day for it, said Max. For what? Asked Maggie. It's a fine day for finding the perfect pumpkin, asked Max. I love pumpkins, said Maggie. So do I, said Max, but only if they're just right. Maggie and Max went to the pumpkin patch. Pumpkins of all sizes and shapes were growing everywhere. "Look at these pumpkins," said Maggie. "Yes," said Max. "I do hope the perfect pumpkin is here." "What does the perfect pumpkin look like?" asked Maggie. "I'm not sure," said Max, "but when I see it, I'll know." Have you ever been to a pumpkin patch before? Super fun picking out a pumpkin, huh? Maggie and Max looked for a pumpkin. "How about this one?" said Maggie. She showed Max a little round pumpkin. "No," said Max, "that's too small." Do you like very big pumpkins or very little pumpkins or medium-sized pumpkins? Me too. Maggie brought over another pumpkin. It was very large. Max frowned. "That is too big," he said. "Look, that pumpkin's bigger than they are." Next, Maggie found a pumpkin that was an in-between size. "How about this one?" she asked. "Not bad," said Max, "but the stem is too short." Maggie found more and more pumpkins, but none of them were the perfect pumpkin. Too thin, too round, too orange, not orange enough. Max found something wrong with each one. Maggie was getting tired. "But I would like to find the perfect pumpkin for Max," she thought. At last, Maggie smiled. There in a fairway corner of the pumpkin patch, she spotted a beautiful pumpkin. It was big, but not too big. It was not too round and not too thin. Its stem was not too short or too long, and its orange color was just right. "I found it," Max called Maggie. "Come and see." Max ran over. He looked at the pumpkin and he almost smiled. Then he saw a tiny brown spot on the pumpkin. "No," he said sadly, "it's not perfect." Do you think there's such thing as the perfect pumpkin? I don't know. Since they grow out of the ground, they all grow differently, right? They're different sizes. They might be different shades of orange. Maggie frowned. "I'm going home now. I'm tired of looking for the perfect pumpkin, and I'm tired of you." She marched away. Max watched her go. "I guess I wasn't very nice," he said. "Maggie tried so hard to help me." Do you think Maggie's feeling a little frustrated with her friend? Yeah. Max picked up the almost perfect pumpkin and carried it home. He scooped out the insides of the pumpkin and carved a funny face on it. Then he used the insides to make a delicious pie. Do you carve pumpkins in October at your house? What about pumpkin pie? Have you ever tried eating pumpkin pie? Did you like it? I love pumpkin pie. Next, Max sat down and wrote a note. When he was done, he gathered up the pie and the pumpkin. He brought them to Maggie's house and rang the doorbell. Maggie came to the door. "Hello, Maggie," said Max, and he gave her a note. The note says, "Dear Maggie, here is a pie and a jack-o'-lantern for you. Thanks for helping me find the perfect pumpkin. From your best but less than perfect friend, Max." How do you think Max is feeling? Yeah, I think he might feel like he made a mistake and he's trying to say he's sorry. Maggie smiled. "The pie smells scrumptious," she said. "Let's have some." And they did. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story about fall. See you next time.